Alright guys, this is Zaxter99 again, and this time I am actually going to be building a home computer, PC desktop, Windows based, for less than $300, and I'm going to go ahead and start off with the first video showing you the parts I've purchased. This is as of February 2013, and show you the cost that I actually paid. I have the invoices right here from Newegg. One part I did buy off Amazon. It was about $10 cheaper, and we'll go ahead and take a look at those right now. So the first item that we actually purchased today was our case, and this is a basic simple case. It is from Antec. You'll see that pretty much all these parts that I've purchased for this build are big name brands, low cost, and should be pretty good performance for a budget build. We'll see how it performs when we get done. But this is a mid-tower case, the VSK3000 Antec, and if we look at the order, we'll see that the price on this was $29.99. At the time I purchased it, had a promo code on Newegg for $10 off, making the net cost $19.99 rather. So $20 for a case. So you know it's not going to be, a case that has USB 3.0 ports on it or anything fancy like that. It's not going to look the coolest, but it should be functional and should do us well for a budget case. I mean, I know some cases out there that are almost $300 by themselves, but this won't be, those kind of cases won't be in this video. So the next item to look at when we look at our budget build is going to be the motherboard and CPU. Picking out a combination that works together. Main thing you want to remember when you look at a motherboard and CPU combination, you want to make sure the CPU socket is the same, the CPU type, and obviously both Intel, both AMD, whatever you choose to go with. AMD seems to have better performance low budget builds, while Intel right now seems to be kicking AMD's tail in more high performance, costlier builds. But for the motherboard, we've chose Asus for this build. This is an F1A55MLE. This is of course an AMD motherboard. We're going to be combining this with an AMD chip, and this should be a nice motherboard for our build. When we look at the cost of this particular motherboard, we see that it is Asus AMD A55 Hudson micro ATX AMD motherboard. It was $69.99, but we actually got a promotional discount on this for $15, knocking the cost down, and we also are saving $20. We're getting a $20 rebate card back in the mail with this particular model. So it makes it a pretty affordable case. About you're looking at $15 minus $69.99. It's $54. $34 motherboard net cost. So a pretty good price on that. You kind of want to look for your price versus performance when you look on. You have to go with the sales. It can be kind of tricky sometimes. With this motherboard, we're going to be combining it with the AMD 3500 A series A6. This is a triple channel processing chip. It's an A6 model, and it should go nicely along with our motherboard. We actually bought this motherboard because it was about $10 cheaper, like I said, on Amazon.com, and you'll see that for that particular chip, 65 watt processor, and it was $65.24, free shipping. Next part that we'll actually want to pick out is our power supply. You never want to skimp out on the power supplies, so that's why for this build I went with Thermaltake. Thermaltake is one of the better, more trusted brands in computer power supplies, cases, and cooling. And there's some other good brands you can stick with power supplies. There's a few that I wouldn't choose. There's only about a few brands that I'd probably even go with a power supply. Those would be Thermaltake, Cooler Master, Antec, Corsair, is another good one, and I would also go with OCZ. I've had good luck with OCZ. So about 4 or 5, 6 brands out there that I do trust. You can see this is a 500 watt power supply. It's got a nice 5-year warranty on it. And it's not modular. That's kind of a, you know, they're deceiving you there. I mean, if it was a modular, it would actually say modular, but it does have the cords attached. You can't take them off, but it should still be a good enough power supply for our build, even though our computer isn't going to need anywhere near the 500 watts. You always want to go over what you need just in case, you know, there's spikes in electricity, just so it can handle it, you know, down the road. It's not going to be wearing it down, wearing your power supply down, just trying to run things. So I would always recommend going well over what you need. It also gives you, you know, more upgradability. If we decided to put in a high performance video card or something like that in here, we would have that option. For the Thermaltake, we actually see that I paid $49.99 for it. It did come with a $10 rebate. So it comes with a $10 rebate. We'll have to make sure we send that in. That knocks it down to $39.99. This particular power supply at the time of purchase also had a promotion code to knock $10 off the price, which takes it down to just $29.99. $30 for a 500 watt power supply by Thermaltake is an awesome deal. So next we'll need our memory for our motherboard. With this one, I went with another big brand, G.Skill. I also went based on the price. This is 4 gigabytes of high performance memory, gaming series. So don't really care about how cool it looks, but this was just actually a good deal. And if you see here, memory has been going up as of late, so it's a little more expensive than it has been, even last year. $31.99 for 4 gigabytes, still not too bad. So you want to make sure you're matching up this is DDR3 1600, you want to make sure you match that with the specs on your motherboard to make sure that it matches up. Okay. Next we'll be putting a hard drive in here, and while solid state drives are becoming more popular, they're still too expensive to go in a budget build. So that's time when I just went with the old faithful mechanical drive. For this I bought a Seagate, and that is a 500 gigabyte drive. Brand new from Newegg, and you'll see that here, thankfully, hard drives have been going down a little bit lately, and 500 gigabyte drive, we paid $60 for that. The last part that we'll be putting into our computer will be a video card. So we went with a Zotac inexpensive brand. I've actually used Zotac several times before. They're a very reliable brand, so you can trust them. They're not as popular as, you know, some of the bigger brands for video cards, but they work just fine. This is a 1 gigabyte Model 610 GeForce GT, and while this is definitely not the biggest motherboard, I mean, video card you could buy, you know, it's a lower performance model, but it should be able to handle some graphics on some of the lower end games, older games and stuff like that just fine, and even some newer games probably on lower settings to mid settings. And with that, Zotac, you look at the price here, $39.99, but they also combine that with a $20 rebate, making the cost of that video card just $19.99. So we've got our parts lined up here. I'd like to go ahead and show you here that we do have a price. You said this was going to be less than $300. We look at the price, $314.93, and we also had $19.99 for the case. We had another part on here that wasn't included. It was about $60 that I used for another computer. So it's essentially the same cost as our CPU from Amazon. We got a net cost though of about, let's say this one was about $5 more from Amazon. So we're looking at about $320, call it, that I actually spent, plus another $19.99, $340 for the case. But we also have $50 in rebates that we're sending in. So we're looking at $50 from $340 makes it $290. And we also got this $15 promotional gift card that comes about 3 or 4 days after your order is sent. and we can apply that to a future order, making our net cost about $275. So with that, we're going to go ahead and start the build of this budget computer. Net cost, like I said, about $275 out of pocket. That is after all the rebates are sent in. One thing I recommend when you do get these rebates is that as soon as you get these parts out of the boxes, you follow all the directions on the rebates. Make sure you do them exactly as they say. Make sure you go ahead and cut out the UPC codes and everything like that on the boxes. Mail in exactly what they tell you to do. And then that way you'll get your rebates. If you put them away, or end up throwing your boxes away or anything like that, you may end up forgetting about it, or if you put it away to do it later, you'll end up forgetting about it, and that's what they count on. They count on you, most people forgetting to mail in their rebates, and then you won't get them. So I highly recommend, if you do get any of these rebates, that you get them done as soon as you get all the parts out of your boxes, and get it done before you forget or put it off. That way you make sure you get those rebates, and it may just be me, but a lot of times it seems like those rebate checks always come, or those rebate cards come at a time when I need them the most. When I'm 2 days before payday and I'm out of gas or whatever, it seems like I get one of those in the mail, so they're pretty nice. So go ahead and we'll go ahead and start building this. It'll be split up into a few different videos, less than 15 minutes, because I'm only allowed 15-minute time slots on YouTube as of this current time. So we'll be splitting this build up into easily manageable 15-minute or less sections. So you'll see a link here right now to go to video 2, or part 2 of this budget build, and I'll show you exactly how to build this budget PC.